Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Welcome everyone to another episode of Living Halal. One of the topics that we'd like to address through Living Halal is eating halal and eating healthy. In this episode, our guest is Sister Wendy. She has been practicing holistic living style for more than 2 years, and during this time she had some health improvement, which she'll explain in a moment. But the interesting thing is why we invited Sister Wendy is because she's a math teacher and she's also a doctoral student in computer science. So, Sister Wendy, thank you for coming and welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so the question that arises is you are a math instructor. So how did you get into this holistic living style?
Well, yes, that's a good question. The reason that I choose to live in this lifestyle, mainly it is because I had a problem with my bones. For over maybe 3-4 years, I've been diagnosed with low bone density. Um, Unfortunately, the doctor couldn't do too much about it. When I asked the doctor what should I do, all she could do, she would suggest me to take medication. But what I noticed is that if I really started to take the medication, meaning the pills, then I'm going to take it nonstop, and that would mean for the rest of my life. And I certainly don't want to surrender to it. She also suggests me to do exercise, to take calcium supplements, but unfortunately, they just seems to be useless to improve any of my health condition. So therefore, I started to do some Google, and then I found out about this holistic way of living. So that's how I started.
So you mean you tried the conventional way first and didn't see any improvement?
Yes, yes, I tried that. I tried to do exercise. She would suggest me, my doctor would suggest me to, do as much exercise as possible, and that's what I did. And also, she would say, well, take calcium supplements. And at first, it didn't work, so she said, well, not double the dosage. Well, I'm talking about the supplements, but still, it didn't help. So then I thought there must be some way. Plus, at that moment, I wasn't really fully understand what exactly does it mean. Like, basically the low bone density is going to lead me to osteoporosis, and I did not fully understand what causes the osteoporosis. I know that it would mean the low bone density, but then what causes the low bone density? So I have no idea. So therefore, I decided I'm going to find out, and that's what I did.
And what did you find out?
Well, I found out a lot of things. Well, basically, what happened is that the diet that I was consuming was completely wrong. Now, the diet that I used to consume basically is the same as everybody else. Okay, I would eat a bread in the morning, toast with the butter, and I would drink milk, and and for the lunchtime I would have sandwiches, or sometimes a snack bars, and then in the evening, usually just have a meal with some chicken, with some beef or whatever, and or rice, pasta, and I found out that that is completely wrong.
How so?
Well, basically all of these foods, they are uh, highly processed. First of all, um, these foods basically they are they're having a lot of different problems in all kinds of categories. For example, the meat, okay, it's very acidic. Well, all of these foods that we usually eat, they are very acidic, and our body simply cannot take it because our body is supposed to be uh, neutralized a little bit, leaning toward the alkaline stage. So when you eat the food that is very acidic, then that would lead you to a very bad health.
Can you explain these terms and give some examples?
Okay, sure. Um, well, basically, whether if the food is considered to be acidic or alkaline, it is not determined by the taste, first of all. Okay, so in other words, if you eat lemon or if you eat orange, I know the food is a little bit acidic to us, to our taste. However, to our body, they are completely the opposite, which would be a little bit alkaline. Now, whether the food is acidic or alkaline is determined at the time when the food is consumed into your body and when it is digested in your liver, and then at the time when the waste is produced, the waste itself, and that would be determined by your body, your waste as acidic or as alkaline. Now we all know that from chemistry, neutralize means with the pH value that is 7.0, like the water that we drink, it's neutral. Okay, and so for any substance with the pH value that is a little bit lower than 7.0, it could be all the way low down to 1, of course, all the way go up to 14. And if the pH value is higher than 7.0, then it's considered to be alkaline. Now our body, pH value of our body is 7.4. So in other words, it's neutral, but a little bit toward alkaline. So what happened is that the pH value of our bodies should always stay close to 7.4. Now, if our pH value is not 7.4, then your body is, simply like it's going to rescue you from dying. So they have to start working very hard in order to neutralize that. So if we consume a lot of acidic food, then your body is in a constant stage that is trying to rescue you. So you can imagine that how difficult it is, that is to your body.
So you mean the food that we eat has a great impact on our health?
Exactly, exactly. This is very important. Everything that goes wrong in your body, basically, it's all because of the food that you eat.
And so for you, what did you change? You said you used to take the regular breakfast and lunch and
Mhm.
dinner. How do you eat now, and what effect you see your health?
Okay. Well, uh, I first of all I have to tell our listeners that when I change gradually. Okay, so do not consider me as I change it completely to the diet that I'm going to tell you on the first day. No, I change it gradually. But basically, what I'm eating right now is I eat almost completely raw. I said almost because I am not completely 100% raw yet, but I'm working toward it. Um, well, I'm eating raw, and food usually that I eat would be in the morning. It would be, basically just the fruits and the vegetables, they blended together. We call that a green smoothie. And then the other time, I would consume a lot of fruits and vegetables. Basically, that's what I eat, and with a little bit seeds, a little bit nuts.
So by raw, you mean uncooked vegetable and fruits?
Yes, exactly. I receive this question very often from people when they learn that I eat raw. Usually their reaction is like, oh, so you eat raw meat, so you eat sushi. I say, no, no, I don't eat meat. So basically my diet is considered to be raw and vegan. Vegan. So in other words, I do not consume any animal products.
And so for someone who wants to start, why should they consider the eating raw? Or maybe they already having a healthy life and they are
Mhm.
enjoying their food. So
Okay. Um, Basically, before I changed my diet, like I said, I had this bone density problem. But other than that, I was very healthy. I did not have any obesity. I did not overweight. I did not even overweight. And I was basically pretty healthy. Okay. However, after I changed my diet, it not only changed my bone density, but also it helps me with other uh, different small ailments that I had, for maybe many, many, many years already. And I got so used to it, I would actually forget that I had those problems already. But when I look back, like, all of a sudden one day I woke up and I certainly realized that, oh, that kind of disease had disappeared already for I don't know for how long, but it disappeared. So I mean, um, this kind of healthy way of living, I know that in the beginning, people might think that it's impossible, or you might think that that is such a torture. You cannot enjoy it all the food that I'm, enjoying right now. But what I want to tell you is that raw food doesn't mean the food that is doesn't taste good. No, it actually tastes pretty good. And so as long as you go into that area, you really don't want to go back. And I'm not the only one who says that, because there are a lot of other raw foodists out there. And once they started with eating raw, they just don't want to go back, because the benefit that you will see is that, number one, you don't get sick anymore. Number two, you have a tremendous energy with you and with a very, very clear mind. Okay, very the very sharp mind with you. And so that is the thing that I really cannot describe to you unless you actually try it.
So, as a clarification for the listener, that you are not a doctor and you are not offering, like, if someone has a disease or something, they still have to go and check with their physician.
Oh, definitely. I'm only sharing my experience with your listeners, sharing my experience how I went to the raw food diet. However, every person has his or her own different situations or diseases, whatever. So I really cannot say specifically how to do a certain things, but I'm just sharing my experience as well as the experiences that I know from other people, because we know that a lot of other people, um, they have they have all kinds of different diseases, including the cancers, and the way that they get rid of those diseases is just through eating raw.
And you mentioned that the way you found out about this holistic lifestyle is through searching on the internet. But
Mhm.
that also raises a question, like, what kind of sources you trust? Are these by other doctors and professionals in the field, or can you
Mhm.
explain that more?
Yeah, sure. Well, number one, that um, if you understand the alternative medicine, then you'll be very shocked to know that actually the conventional medicine or the doctor, they will tell you otherwise. The information will be completely different. However, I think this is a very simple, easy test that everyone can ask himself or herself. How many times when you were sick and you went to the doctor could actually cure you? Cure meaning that you completely would become disease free, that you don't have to continue to take any medication. Okay, maybe after a certain period of time, you should be able to stop taking the medication. How many times do you actually get that kind of results? Probably it would be none. However, when you are eating raw, then you would definitely see the results. Like for instance, for myself, I have this low bone density problem. Now in the beginning, I was still taking the supplements, the calcium, vitamin D, and so on, and trying to get my to reverse my low bone density problem. However, I do not need to continue because at this point right now, when I'm talking to you right now, I stopped taking all these supplements already. So in other words, I am fully go back to my health already. And I believe that this is the best evidence to show people that how this is working. Now, I'm not the only person say this. Like I said, a lot of other people, they will tell you the same thing. Um, Many times we trust our doctors. You know, doctors is like the kind of an authority. Um, However, um, you know, doctors are like all of us. They don't know everything. Okay, they know certain things, but they don't know everything. And if you ask a doctor, what is the reason for me to get this, for me to get that, most of the time you won't get that answer. So what I would like to let people to know is that we all should take control of our own health, okay? Because that is your body after all. And no one else would understand your body better than yourself.
So, since there are different of opinions about these health
Mhm.
benefits, so who are these authors and experts in raw food? Are they also gone through the medical like studies and so
Mhm.
on?
Yes, most of these raw foodists, most of them, they started with a certain kind of disease. Now, I've known a lot of people. One lady, she is from England, and she was um, she was very, very obese. Actually, after the raw food, she lost 160 pounds. Okay, and she was big, and she had thyroid problem. Okay, but now if you look at her, you will not believe, you know, what happened to her before. And she's been raw for, I don't remember, but maybe 6 or 8 years, something like that. It's been a long time already. And other people, when they go raw, they might have Crohn's disease. Okay, they might have, you know, any kind of disease that you can imagine or you cannot imagine. Some of the diseases I don't even know the names. Many people with the cancer, for instance, the breast cancer, and most of these cancer patients, what happened to them is that the doctor would just simply tell them, you know, we cannot do anything to you any longer. So, you know, you're just gonna go home and then wait to die. Maybe 1 month, 2 months later, you're gonna die. And these people, they don't want to give up. So they started to do the research and they found out this raw food way of eating, and then they actually completely reverse the cancer and they are cancer free, completely cancer free.
So what's in the regular food that we eat? What's so wrong about it?
Um, that is very, very wrong. Okay. It's very complicated, but I can give you some examples to let you know what's wrong with them. Well, first of all, like I said, they are all very acidic. That's the number one big enemy to your body, to your health. um, the the meat that we eat, okay, basically contains a lot of fat in it, and the fat, you notice, is so difficult to digest. Um, Digesting the fat in our body, liver is responsible for doing that. And so probably that we've heard a lot of people nowadays that they died of liver um, related diseases. And that is the main reason, even though these people, they don't smoke, they don't even drink. However, they would die of the liver cancer or whatever diseases. Now, the main reason is because eating too much fat. So you're giving your body the big burden to digest the fat day and night, day and night. Okay, so it's overburden your body basically. Um, for that, it's about the meat, and then let alone the meat. Okay, basically it's either beef or chicken. And if you know how they were raised, okay, before they died, you would never want to eat them again. They were all crowded in a small room, and they didn't have any space, not even to sit down or to lie down. And then all they could do at the point when they were alive is just to eat. They weren't even allowed to breathe with the fresh air. They were all put into the dark room so that you know that if think about our human beings when we are staying in a dark room, what we think is that the night is still here, so you just want to sleep. Okay, so that is the reason why they don't give them any light. So all they could do is just eat and sleep, eat and sleep. And then they make the waste, just they sleep on the waste, their own waste. The environment is terrible, the hygiene is terrible, and they were fed with the protein with the sorry the, they were fed with the hormone. Now the reason with the hormone is so that they can grow meat, even though the meat is so fake. Okay, they are not strong at all, but they were raised in by eating a lot of hormones. They were also raised by injecting the antibiotics, especially for the cows, because they were so sick. They got diseases spreading around, so they have to inject them with the antibiotics. Now, with all of these things, after you kill them, you eat the meat. Now, certainly the hormones is there. Certainly the antibiotic is there. And so when you eat them, you're not just eating the meat, but you eat those byproducts as well into your body. But that is why you can see a lot of people. Now, personally, I know many people, they just started coming to this country from another country, maybe from Asia, from Southeast Asia. And these people, when they just arrived in the United States, they were very skinny. They were, they just look beautiful. But then usually after 1 year, when I see them again, I will be so shocked to see that their face become big, their whole body becomes big. Well, what is the main reason? Well, because they started eating a lot of chicken. Why? Because, well, to them, the chicken is so cheap in this country. If you compare with the chicken with their back home, this is so cheap. Now, well, of course, this is the best time to eat chicken. So that is why when you see them with the big face, my first thought come to my mind is that, oh my God, I can see all the hormones on their face, in their face. It's not the fat, it's the hormone. So, and that is also part of the reason why there are so many people nowadays, they become they become gays. That's also part of the reasons actually.
So if someone wants to know more about how the food industry is preparing the food for us and growing these animals, do you have any references for them?
Well, yeah. there are many very good documentaries that you can watch them. Now, one of them I would highly suggest is called the Incorporated, Food Incorporated, Food Inc. You know, in that documentary, you can see how they raise the chicken, how they raise the cows, how they milk the cows, um, how they kill them, you know, all of those ugly things that you can see them. And I guarantee you don't want to eat them anymore after you see them. Now, I know that many people don't want to see them. It's because they actually know it reveals all the fact about the meat. However, they don't want to face the reality. Now, what I would like to suggest you is that you have to really think carefully, because when you are consuming all the meat into your body, that is your own body. That is your body. Now, I certainly cannot understand why people are so careful about the things that they bought. For example, if they have a car, they probably would consider the car is, you know, something that is so precious, and they don't want anything happen to the car. And yet when it comes to their own body, they don't take care of the body. Now just tell me, which one is more important, your own body or it's just the car? The car can be replaced. As long as you have money, you can always buy a new car. But your body cannot be replaced. It's just as simple as that. So you have to face the reality and then do the right choice. Now, the best way to do the right choice is to educate yourself. Um, Open your mind and then willing to accept many different alternatives, and then make the best decision, the wisest decision.
And for can you explain if someone wants to start, what are the steps and they can go?
Yes, like I said, when I started step by step. In other words, I didn't just jump right into the raw food, although some people they did. Some of the raw fooders they did, just they changed themselves overnight. But I didn't do it that way, because at that time I was still trying to learn about this whole thing. So what I did was very simple and easy. First of all, I changed my breakfast. My breakfast no longer bread and milk, but rather I would drink the green smoothie. Now, how do I make that green smoothie? Green smoothie is simply by blending um, a type of leafy veggie juice, leafy veggies with uh, several, maybe two or three different kinds of fruits together. Okay, once you blend them together, and you might need to add some water, and you just blend them together, make the entire blender. That would probably produce you with 4 cups of green smoothie, and then you can just drink that, and that would be your breakfast.
For today's episode, we covered the experience that Sister Wendy had with her old conventional diet and her transition to a new raw food diet, and the benefit that uh, ex- uh, she experienced and from this change. So if you have any questions if you listen to this talk and have any questions, please just post it on the website, and we are going to inshallah invite Sister Wendy back to answer your questions.
Yes, I'm going to have some free recipes available. My website is IslamicHolisticLiving.com.
So thank you, Sister Wendy, and thank you for all the listener out there. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.